Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
So President Biden and the team here is doing everything we can to help get the hostages that Hamas took, get them released, including young children and, of course, Americans that are in that pool.
Oh, hello.
Pool. Now, I know this is of great interest to all of you. I just want to let you know we're still working this hour by hour. I do not have an update for you on the hostage deal that we're trying to negotiate. But as you heard the Deputy National Security Advisor say yesterday, we believe we're closer than we've ever been. So we're hopeful. But there's still work to be done, and nothing is done until it's all done. So we're going to keep working on this.
Release the hostages already. Oh, my God, I can't take it. I just, So we're closer than we were 5 seconds ago, but not as close as we will be in 5 more seconds. What? I just, listen, I just threw away papers. I just threw away. I was cleaning up a little bit, and I just threw away newspaper articles because, yes, I'm a boomer, and I print out the internet that go back to, like, last week when they were saying, Israel-Hamas hostage deal imminent. It's been going on for forever now. I just, anyway, if something happens, if, the Red Cross get in to visit the hostages or to wink at the hostages or to drive past the hostages or to wave at them, or if the Red Cross is allowed in there and then I will let you know. I will let you know. Right now, it's imminent. Imminent. Like Thanksgiving is imminent. Well, it's not till Thursday, but guess what? I'm taking off tomorrow. So it's imminent for me, is what it is. And Brett, we're tired. We're exhausted. We're fried.
Imminent sounds good.
Imminent. It's an eminence front. It's a put on. So anyway, here's what they want. Okay, both sides. Okay, so the terrorists, the Hamas terrorists, they want for every Israeli hostage, they want 3 Palestinian prisoners released. Apparently, Israel has like 8,000 plus Palestinian prisoners. And some of them, I don't know if this is true or not. I have no way of knowing anything about anything that goes on over there. I love how people are suddenly experts. But they say that there's like, women and children in Israeli jails. I don't know. But they would like the Hamas hostages. They would like 3 Palestinian prisoners released for every hostage that Hamas took. They want a 4 to 5 day pause in the violence. They would like a increased shipments of fuel. There's some shipments of fuel that are allowed to go in, but the terrorists want more. They say it's for the hospitals. I say it's for the tunnels below the hospitals, but that's just me. And the terrorists are offering a release of 50 women and children in exchange for that. The Israelis want the Red Cross to be allowed in to Gaza to view the hostages so that we can figure out who's alive, who's not. Do you know what I mean? Like, and right now it's 10 o'clock in Israel. Do you know where your hostages are? No, we don't. No, we don't. Anyway, that was not on the front page today of the New York Times. Oh, no. You know what was on the front page of the New York Times today? Oh, man. Yeah. It's more about us. It's more about how we're going down some really strange road that will make you feel like you're talking about a country over there when it happens here. And even the Wall Street Journal, I'm telling you, like every newspaper is trying to say, do you have any idea how fascist Trump is really letting himself go? Do you have any idea how he plans to wield power? Have you read the Project 2025? Do you have any idea that he's going to purge the government a la Saddam Hussein? Do you have any idea that he is literally using Oracle's AI tool to go and scrub through people's social media postings to make sure that they're as hateful and ugly as he would want them to be? Do you have any idea that he is literally going out finding some of the most debased, disgusting, disgraceful excuses for lawyers in this country to fill and populate his Department of Justice so that he can then use it to hunt down anyone who criticizes him? Does that seem like a good fit for this here country? But it was, the lead story today in the New York Times. It was just like right there on the front page.
It's the lead of the New York Times today.
I know.
Yes.
And I've got to say, it's really important that we're talking about the possible ending of democracy. And it's really important that these stories are in just about every day to, again, keep explaining to people. So if they decide they want to throw away American democracy and go toward autocracy, they can never say they weren't warned.
That is true.
Oh, my God.
Donald Trump's latest extreme remarks describing his political enemies as vermin that he needs to root out is sparking new concern about his authoritarian rhetoric, and that is the piece in the front page of the New York Times. And it notes this. He has insinuated that the nation's top military general should be executed and called for the termination of parts of the Constitution if he wins back the White House. He has said he would have no choice but to imprison political opponents. The paper continues. Mr. Trump's rise to power was almost immediately accompanied by debates over whether his ascendancy and that of other leaders around the world with similar political views signaled a revival of fascism.
Woohoo!
Fascism is generally understood as an authoritarian far-right system of government which hyper-nationalism is a central component.
I mean, this is the article that they're reading from. This was the front page of the New York Times today. It is a very long article. It is 10 pages. There's another article in the New York Times by Jonathan Swan, Maggie Haberman, and Charlie Savage that lays out how Trump and his allies plan to wield their power in 2025. This one is called "Trump's Dire Words Raise New Fears About His Authoritarian Bent." Is that Peyronie's disease? What is that? Call Hims. Get online. Go to Roman.com or something. Fix it. Get it straightened out. Do the exercises. You know, it's not just getting the pill. It's not just reaching out. You have to actually do the exercise. It probably, hurts at first, but then you'll get used to it. It'll feel good. He's got a bent. Fix the bent. I mean, why do we all have to pay for this? Why do we have to pay for his disfigurement? I don't understand it. But it's all over the papers now. I mean, it's everywhere. Laying out step by step what his plan is and how he is telling you what his plan is and not to ignore what he's telling you. Don't turn the other way. Because it is always, he is signaling to you, that, and he's making it so unpalatable that, most people in this country are like, I don't even want that coming out of my mouth. I don't even want to repeat what he said because he's making it so disgusting. But you remember how you had to pillory Hillary when she simply called the people who eventually ended up knocking over the Capitol deplorables? Do you remember? You remember how, that was just so out of line. That was so unfair. That was so low. That was so disgusting. That was so wrong. And now he's literally talking about using the Department of Justice to appoint, quote, a real special prosecutor to go after President Biden and his family. And then he said on Univision, telling Univision, which, by the way, a lot of people are walking out of Univision, Univision apparently was just purchased by a large media company out of Mexico. And when they decided that they might lean towards like a Foxy sort of a, One America News Network sort of an approach to their viewers, the journalists there watched this interview with Trump and let him slide on so many factual errors, which is not something that Univision is known to do or prone to do or wants to do. And so a lot of the good journalists there are saying that they have to leave. They have to go because they let this guy slide, saying that he has to. He has no choice but to, go after his enemies and have them indicted. His enemies. Holy crap.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
The Times quotes an expert on the topic. Fascism is generally understood, and this is boilerplate stuff, really, for what fascism is. Fascism is generally understood as an authoritarian, far-right system of government in which hyper-nationalism is a central component. Check. It also features a cult of personality around a strongman leader. Check. The justification of violence or retribution against opponents. Check. And the repeated denigration of the rule of law. Check, said Peter Hayes, a historian who has studied the rise of fascism. Past fascist leaders appealed to a sense of victimhood to justify their actions. Check. We're entitled because we've been robbed. We've been victimized. We've been cheated and robbed. Check, check, check. The whining, the snowflakery coming from the Trump people. I mean, a snowflake falls on their shoulders and they're victimized. They're victimized by history books on Hank Aaron. They're victimized by kids' books on Roberto Clemente. They're victimized by tweets. They're victimized. You name it. They are victimized by everything. They are such weak snowflakes, and they're using that victimization to justify violence against their opponents.
Yeah, but he's only running for president to stay out of jail. You know, I mean, like, don't leave that part out. This is why he's running for president. Do you really think that Donald Trump would be running for president if he wasn't facing like real jail time, or his business wasn't being, having its certificates, revoked so that he couldn't do business in New York City? No, he's doing it so he could get control over the Justice Department. He's doing it so that he can actually stay out of jail. This is why he's doing it. And in order to stay out of jail, and in order to make everybody forget that he is a fraud and a criminal, and that there are 91 counts, felony counts against him in 4 separate jurisdictions, he has to actually make it so that he's the victim. That's the whole point. That's what he's doing. That's why he's, running for president, because he's been victimized by democracy. He doesn't like democracy. It didn't work for him. It's not good for him. He doesn't thrive in it. He needs to cheat. He needs to lie. He needs to rig elections. This could be said for the entire Republican Party, and that is what is so frightening. The entire Republican Party now. And yesterday, you saw just a little, a brief snippet of it. Yesterday, remember I told you the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals actually decided that Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, we don't need it anymore. And you know what's so fascinating is that when they went after Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, right, when Clarence Thomas said, there is no more racism in America. Oh, by the way, the guy on the 8th Circuit that wrote this, Clarence Thomas's law clerk. Yeah, they all know each other. This is like a real creepy little club. You wouldn't want to be a part of it because they're all crooked. They're all unethical and without any morality or love for their nation. There's so much hatred for America that happens in this, weird right-wing cabal of Christo-fascists. I mean, even Mike Johnson was saying how America is so depraved. America is evil. This goes right down with Donald Trump's this American carnage ends here, ends now. I mean, their view of our country is so negative. It's so bad. They despise us because they can't thrive unless they can rig the maps, unless they can rig the vote, unless they can, suppress the vote, unless they can make you count bubbles in a soap bar in order to get to the vote, unless they can, go and use the military to seize the voting machines. This is the only way they can win, and they know it. So yesterday, the 8th Circuit decided that they were going to say there is no private right of action, meaning you, as an American citizen, cannot bring a lawsuit if you feel as if your voting rights were curtailed or were taken from you or were suppressed or something bad happened with regard to you connecting to your ballot. They said, apparently, only the United States Attorney General has the right to bring an action against, for voter fraud. Well, that's an interesting theory, isn't it? Think about it this way. How many times have we gone over the fact that America doesn't have federal elections? No, we don't. We have 50 different states, and each state chooses the manner in which it selects its electors. We know we have 50 different elections, every presidential election, every single one. Why would you say that the only person who could sue for something that went south in your state, meaning you ran out of ballots in Fulton County again, or they closed the polls early, or they moved the polling places and nobody told you and you couldn't find your polling place, or right ahead of the election they canceled, ballot, the drop boxes and you weren't aware of that, or they said no more mail-in ballot, whatever it is. It doesn't even matter what the issue is. The issue would be an issue for your state, because your state decided how, when, where you would vote. But now the Eighth Circuit, one of Clarence Thomas's, lackeys, says, oh, no, only the United States Attorney General can bring a lawsuit. What is going on here? Oh, I'll tell you. Cheating, rigging, and not letting you get your grievances redressed. And this has nothing to do with your party affiliation. I don't care if you're trying to cast a Republican ballot or you're trying to cast a Democratic ballot or some mix of the two. I really don't care. But they're taking away our rights one by one by one. And that is a tangible, observable, readable, knowable thing. That's why it's on the front page of the papers. That's why it's become such a shot heard around the world. That's why everybody who writes for a living, everybody who's a pundit, everybody who can tell, they got another breath left in their body to talk to you about it, is talking to you about it. I mean, it's Thanksgiving, for God's sake. And while some of you will say, well, we don't celebrate in our house because of the colonization and all, you still will be thankful that you live under the set of rules that is the United States Constitution, won't you? Yeah, with all of its downsides, it also has right now in this moment some protection for your free speech, for you to be able to celebrate or not celebrate whatever you want or don't want to celebrate. However you view this upcoming Thursday, however you feel about it, you're entitled to feel that way about it. But that could all go away in a heartbeat. And it could happen because Donald Trump becomes president again, or it could happen because all of these miscreants have been fed into the pipeline of the justice system now, and they're taking away fair maps. I mean, we just went through this whole thing with Alabama, Louisiana, right? I mean, the Supreme Court was like doing its thing. It was doing its job. It was functioning. It was actually siding on the side of, hey, let's not cheat. And telling Alabama, what do you mean you don't want to go back and redraw your maps? We said you need to go back and redraw your maps. Now this. They're not done. They're not done. They don't want to listen to the Supreme Court tell them that they have to run free and fair elections. And so if they don't want to hear about it from you, who's going to be allowed to complain from your state about the maps? Who's going to be allowed to complain about your state about the ballot not being accessible by you? See what I mean? This is so, it's happening.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
Donald Trump knows the impact his words have. He knew when he put out the tweet on December 19th, 2020, when he summoned the mob to come to Washington, D.C., that he was going to expect a crowd. That's why he continued pushing and pushing and pushing that rhetoric and pushing those invitations to all of his supporters that ended up coming to Washington, D.C. on January 6th. So when Donald Trump says something, I think that we as a nation do a big disservice to our own constituents and our neighbors when we don't take what he says at face value.
I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it? That he knows exactly what he's saying and why he's saying it. And he's saying it so that he can make himself into some victim tough guy, which is an element of the cult-like sycophantic adulation for him. And that's what's necessary in a fascist form of government. You almost always have some cult-like figure at the top of it. You know, the big authoritarian. And why do they always have such funky hairdoosies? I don't know. But it is a theme. It's a recurring theme. You know, Boris Johnson, he looked like Donald Trump, okay? Right down to the crazy hair, except Johnson's hair wasn't a comb over and Donald Trump's is, because he's freaking bald. It's crazy. And then I showed you the that guy from Javier Milei in Argentina, this new guy that was just, came out of nowhere. He was also a TV pundit. He was on television there in Argentina. He's a right-wing, uber-libertarian freak of nature, and everybody's saying that his ideas, even the Wall Street Journal today, I'm trying to figure out whether or not he can save Argentina from 140%, inflation, from hyperinflation, and whether or not he can pull it out, for the people who are experiencing almost 50% unemployment, right? And they're saying he is about to, shock Argentina. Remember, when Pinochet was the dictator of Chile, and we let Milton Friedman go over there with his shock doctrine. Does everybody remember that? And they tried some weird monetary policy over there, and it just literally, Chile had pensioners. Chile had sort of a social security system that people were reliant on that did fine for them. And all of a sudden, we went over there and we started infusing them with this crazy, right-wing version of economics. And it just devastated that country. And Pinochet became, like a killer because the people were rebelling against him. And the same thing's going to happen in Argentina, apparently, by people who are studying what this guy's economic plan looks like. They're like, oh, my God. So get used to it, because now we're going to have even more people coming from South America. We're going to have even more people coming here. But, of course, it won't stop Donald Trump from jailing them or he wants mass deportations. You understand that, right? He wants mass deportations of millions of people that live here. Millions. He doesn't want he doesn't believe in, citizenship at birth, right? So his theory is that if you are born here and you get birthright citizenship, but your parents weren't born here, that's bogus. So when in my lineage did we become legit? Do you know what I'm saying? Because my grandma and my grandpa, they were not born here. So my mom and my dad who were, they're illegitimate. Do you know what I'm saying? This is such a funky view of what it, and for those of you who go, well, we have to do something about immigration. Yes. And it's very, it's complicated, but it's not. Why is it complicated? It's complicated because the Republican Party doesn't want to solve the issue because they like it. They enjoy it. They trot it out every 4 years. They point to some Jewish conspiracy that's clearly, in their mind explains it, right? It has nothing to do with us meddling in their affairs. It has nothing to do with, wars that we start there. It has nothing to do with the demand for drugs in our country. Nobody ever wants to talk about the demand side of any of the drug problems that America is experiencing. Nobody. It's always supply. Let's talk about the supply side. That's the supply side. No, I hate to, beg to differ with you. I think it's, both supply and demand being what they are in order to create an economy of drugs. So there's that. But they don't want to ever talk about any of that. They just want to be hostile about the results of their own policies and then point to people who are the result of their policies being here and saying that's the problem. It's very sick. It's very twisted. But if you wanted to solve the immigration problem, you know what you need to do, right? It's called comprehensive immigration reform. What the hell? Yeah. Change the asylum laws for those of you who only have very short attention spans. Change the asylum laws. The people that are here that are waiting for these hearings, their asylum hearings, which could take years, is a result of two things. Yeah, it's a result of our asylum laws being what they are, and it's a result of an understaffed, undermanned, financed court system to hear claims of asylum. Oh. Well, we want to build a wall. I get it. Well, we want to see the mass deportation. We want kids in cages. I understand. You're torturers. You're evil. You're ugly. You like killing things. I get it. It's not going to solve your problem. I hope after all of this locking people up and all of this caging and all of this, we're going to, do border security. Oh, we're going to put people on buses. We're going to send them to Martha's Vineyard. Oh, we're going to send them to New York City. Oh, we're going to this. We're going to. And now you got like 75% of the population of the United States saying something must be done about immigration. Well, good for you. The thing to do about immigration has always been the thing to do about immigration. And those are those two things I just told you. And that is change the asylum laws so that you can't say I'm seeking asylum because I'm poor. And you can only say you're seeking asylum by making some sort of a showing that your life is in danger if you stay in the country that you came from. That's number one. Number two, staff the asylum courts. Make it so that claims can be heard quickly. What was the expression? Justice delayed is justice denied? Yeah. You realize that January 6th happened, what, three years ago? And the trial is not until March 4th of 2024. Yeah, speedy justice. But, I mean, and the guys that actually did, remember in Fulton County, there were two people that said they wanted speedy justice. They wanted their trials to be, sped up. It was Sidney Powell and Chesborough. Why did they want it sped up? So that they could make, claims, so that they could plea. You have lawyers in this country around Donald Trump copping pleas, and you don't think there's a problem with this guy. That's just ridiculous. But anyway, I digress. All of this hate talk, all of this, we're going to mass deport, all of this. Hey, I want to see them get on trains. Bye-bye, Mexicans. Bye-bye. Oh, it's like a scene out of Schindler's List with, Spanish speakers. Just horrendous, right? This is also, he could stay out of jail. Every ugly thing he's saying, every single threat he's making is so that you will elect him so he can stay out of jail. Want to stay out of jail? Enter into a plea agreement.
This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
First, it was Alabama. Surprise Supreme Court win for black voters. Soon it was also Georgia. And then it was Louisiana, too. All states where major court decisions called for the drawing of new congressional maps that would give black voters a chance at fair representation after Republican legislators drew up districts that deliberately locked black voters out of any reasonable chance of electing the legislators of their choice. These were all states where voters and voting rights groups were able to sue to get fair representation for black voters, and they were able to win. They won surprising, meaningful, consequential victories for black voters, thanks to the Voting Rights Act of 1965. The cases appeared to open a path toward undoing racially discriminatory congressional maps of the past, state by state, one by one. Until now, until today.
Right.
Today, a panel of 3 federal judges, all appointed by Republicans, issued a decision in a case that was brought by the Arkansas chapter of the NAACP. It challenges the fairness of congressional maps there. And these judges in the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, they ruled that private citizens, private entities, private groups can't bring these cases anymore. Can't bring the kind of cases that we have seen succeed in Alabama and Georgia and Louisiana and other states. The judges ruled that entities, private entities, can't bring those kinds of cases. Actually, the only entity that can bring that kind of a case is the United States Attorney General.
Oh, God.
And if you can't get the United States Attorney General to bring a case like this on your behalf, then what happens in your state? And what happens to the cases that have been decided already? What happens to other states where voters want to challenge a racially discriminatory gerrymander of the congressional maps?
And why would you give the only standing available for a complaint, for a lawsuit against voter suppression, to the feds? Not only just think about who's been our attorney general and who's likely to be our attorney general if another Republican ever gets their hands on the White House, right? I mean, Bill Barr would have brought that suit. Oh, hell no. Edwin Meese, maybe. Does that ring a bell? No, not a chance, okay? Jeff Sessions, old Beauregard there from, Alabama, he's going to sue his own state on behalf of, people who have been, had their votes suppressed. Please give me a break. It makes no sense, this ruling, at all, on any level, no matter how you slice and dice it, unless you are adamant about keeping people from being able to complain when you actually suppress their access to the ballot. So women have no privacy rights anymore. In fact, I don't think anybody has any privacy rights anymore. I mean, they're going to say, listen, I don't see any mention of the word privacy in the Constitution, so there can't actually be a right to privacy in this country, even though it says, you have the right to your own security in your person, papers, and things. It doesn't mean that's, private. It doesn't mean that. You could be secure and have somebody staring at you the whole time. It's just up to you to figure it out and make yourself comfortable. I mean, this is some sick stuff. This is some really twisted, crap. The idea now that Congress, I don't know if you saw this or not, but Gretchen Whitmer in Michigan actually went ahead and passed a law on guns. Why? Well, the case that we were talking about the other day that sounded like something out of a Twilight Zone episode. It didn't sound real, where people who have been convicted of domestic violence, domestic abuse, people who have been on the other end of a restraining order that needed to be applied for because you keep beating your freaking wife. According to the case that was heard by the Supreme Court, you can't stop them from getting a gun because of Bruin, the decision that they made that there are no legitimate gun laws that could be passed in this country unless they were passed in 1891. Unless they were passed and at the founding. Okay? This is the strict constructionist theory of Supreme Court governance and decision making. And so they're saying, well, there's nothing in the Constitution that prevents, domestic abusers from getting. So Gretchen Whitmer said, you know what? I'm going to pass a law in Michigan to protect the women in Michigan for as long as it will stand, okay, until the Supreme Court gets its freaking hands on it. And I'm going to say, if you've been convicted of domestic violence, you can't have a gun in Michigan. This is a very big gun state. And I doubt you're going to have any complaints about that. But this is the Supreme Court of today now, where, you don't have a private right to bring a complaint about, being suppressed or a complaint about the maps being unfair. Like, let's say, 16% of your population is African American and you only have one district that is a majority African American that's been drawn. You can't complain about that. You're going to have to wait till Jeff Sessions complains about it. You're going to have to wait till Bill Barr complains about it. You're going to have to wait till Edwin Meese complains about it. You're going to have to wait. Just wait. Get in line, everybody. Because you have no private right to action. And how did they come to this conclusion? There's no words private right to action in the Constitution. And if they wanted it to be in there, they would have put it in there. This is the same crap that this Colorado judge did when she split the baby the other day and said, well, if the president of the United States was an officer of the United States and was subject to Article 3, Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, it would have said that. And yet we refer to the President of the United States as the occupant of the office of the President of the United States. In fact, the freaking office itself has its own lawyer because it's an office. You would think that the occupant of that office is an officer, English being what it is and all. But no, and we refer to the President of the United States as the Chief Law Enforcement Officer. Oh, that's just colloquial speak. That's not in the... if they wanted it, they would have put it in there. They would have said it. They would have... This is some sick, twisted crap. And so, therefore, the judge was able to say, yeah, your past president, that last guy, he was an insurrectionist. Yeah, he hated the United States. He actually had no respect for its the way that it chooses its electors. He has no respect for the American democracy that was fought for by my parents, maybe by your parents, maybe by your brother, maybe by you. No regard for any of that sacrifice, whether it was a legit thing or not. You answered the call for service because the President of the United States called you to service and you said, yes, I will. Well, they don't regard that. They think you're a loser. They think you're a sucker for doing that. And now they're going to show you just how much of a loser you are. Because you have no right to sue the government or have your grievances redressed. And this man, who has been, like largely attacking outside forces like, Muslims and Mexicans, stuff like that. In the last election, now he's attacking everyone who lives here. Now he's attacking people who were born here. And he doesn't give a damn if you were born here. He cares if your parents were born here. And if your parents weren't born here, but you were, you're not an American citizen in his mind. Okay. And so he's going to deport you in mass deport. And he's got a group that are very excited to see crap like that happen. Like, I don't know, make the trains run on time full of people that you're deporting like that. Yeah. So Donald Trump is, being much more sinister this time around. He's actually attacking people from within, saying that they're the reason why you should be angry and hostile towards your own country. They're the ones that are screwing up your good time. He actually accused certain people of blood libel. I mean, he praises foreign dictators. He says that, people who are coming here from other countries, that they're poisoning the bloodline. Now, who talks like that except a fascist? Who talks like that except a dictator? Who talks like that except somebody that has in their head deportation as a solution and camps for people as a solution? And then he's going to realize he's got millions of people and there needs to be a final solution, because why would he want to feed them? You're not going to want to feed them, you people. And by you people, I mean people who would vote for this. See, first they're going to say, okay, we want them locked up. We want them in camps. We want them deported. We want them this. We want them that. And that will happen. And then all of a sudden it's going to be like, well, the United Nations and the Red Cross and, the Amnesty International, they're now saying you're responsible for the proper care and feeding of these people. And you're going to say, I don't want to spend my tax dollars on the proper care and feeding of these people. Oh, okay. So what do we do with them? So you understand how we become Hamas, right? You get that. You get that, where genocide becomes a thing. And you start singing From Sea to Shining Sea, meaning no one but people from your bloodline get to live in between sea to shining sea.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon.
I have a dream.
Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Help is on the way.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show. Turn up your mind.
All right, it's now 11 o'clock in Israel. Do you know where your hostages are? Right. Okay, I'll keep you abreast. I'll keep you apprised.
This is the first decision to say unequivocally that individuals and civil rights groups like the Legal Defense Fund cannot bring lawsuits under this key provision. And it's interesting that you bring up Shelby County versus Holder, which, as you noted, 10 years ago gutted what was the most transformative provision of the Voting Rights Act, Section 5. And in that decision, Chief Justice Roberts, in striking down that key part of the Voting Rights Act, pointed to Section 2 and said, you can still use Section 2 to vindicate your rights. There's still a vehicle to address racial discrimination in our elections. And yet, a panel of the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals in this country said, no, individual voters, citizens, civil rights groups, good government groups who have brought litigation under Section 2 for decades now can no longer do that. And the only possible vehicle is through the Department of Justice and the U.S. Attorney General. That is woefully inadequate for so many reasons. Not only does DOJ have limited resources and limited time and limited bandwidth, as we know, not every Department of Justice is the same. And in the last administration, we saw voting rights suits come to a screeching halt. In fact, the Legal Defense Fund had to step in and effectively be a Department of Justice during that period of that administration. We can't allow our voting rights to depend on the political whims or machinations of a particular administration.
Well, she's very diplomatic. I have to say, she's extremely polite and extremely diplomatic. That's Janai Nelson. She is the legal defense person for the NAACP, who typically will bring voting rights subversion or voting rights, repression cases to the court, right? And so they just said to her, no, we sort of screwed up. When we did away with Section 5 of the 1965 Voting Rights Act, which was the most transformative portion of the Voting Rights Act, we still said to you, you can use Section 2. Whoops, we left Section 2. We're taking Section 2. That's what happened yesterday. That's how simple that is. And she's like, wait a minute. So the Department of Justice, they have limited resources and limited bandwidth, meaning they don't pay attention to what happens in the states, okay? They're the federal Department of Justice. That was very, very polite to say, you think Jeff Sessions gives a damn whether or not you could vote in Alabama? Do you really think so? Do you think Bill Barr gives a crap about whether or not you could vote in Louisiana? Because I don't. Nobody does. So here they are taking away your rights. I mean, I don't know what else to show you except the taking away of rights as an American that you've enjoyed your entire life, okay? Your entire life. Because if you're alive now, you benefited by being over the age of 18 post-1965. And so you were the beneficiary of the civil rights movement. You were the beneficiary of, ungerrymandered maps. You were the beneficiary of being able to have the government address your grievances if you felt that you were, somehow suppressed from voting or somehow you need to keep your polling place. These are the simple ones, right? Here's a real simple one. So for some strange reason, every single year in many, many counties that are very, very black, they always seem to run out of ballots. It always happens. And then you've got some clerk in that precinct trying to Xerox ballots as fast as she possibly can, and you got people lined up outside, and they deliver the ballots about 100 at a time every 2 hours, while people wait online for 5 hours, 6 hours. In Atlanta, as much as 11 hours to vote. Well, now what you going to do about it? Right. Nothing. You're going to go to what? Bill Barr? That's what I'm telling you. You're going to go to Beauregard. You're going to go to an acting attorney general, because that's what you're going to have in this Mike Davis dude, right? We explained to you yesterday that what Trump would do is he would, because he can't get Senate confirmation for crazy wackadoodles like Michael Flynn. Okay, he can't get confirmation for a seriously, racist guy like Mike Davis. So he won't. He'll make them acting. And they will not do jack crap about a rigged election for you at your. No, it's not going to happen. And then also, I just want to tell you that if you weren't paying attention for the last year and a half, women don't have a right to choose, and now neither do men, because you can't vote. Can't vote. They don't want you to vote. You're not going to vote. So I was asking Brett during the break, where do you think our camp will be? Like, where are they going to take us, Brett? Because honestly, we're going to put up a stink if we can't vote. I mean, I just don't see me going quietly into that good night. I just, I'm going to rage a bit. Rage. And, they're going to come and get me. And I'm wondering, where will the camp be for people like me? And Brett was saying somewhere Brett.
Yeah, like North Fort Myers, the Brandon area, other coast. Very, very inclined to appreciate a camp like that in their area. I do have visions of us getting dragged right out of here on air in a super dramatic fashion.
So I'm thinking Ocala. Yeah. I'm thinking Ocala and like
tracks.
because they have all these retirees living there in the villages who are, on their way out from, syphilis and stuff, right? Because of course they'll withhold the penicillin because they don't want to pay for them either, but they won't even understand why they're dying of preventable diseases because they never did. Okay, they never did. Like COVID became a preventable disease, and they couldn't understand like why isn't the ivermectin working? Why am I dying from a preventable disease? Right. So I guess because we'll have all those people who are free all day, they will be our guards. They will be our COs, corrections officers. Now they're officers. They're officers. The president, not so much. Until Donald Trump becomes president, then he's an officer. Right? Honestly, I need for you to wake up and smell the rights that are being taken away. They've already taken away 2 biggies, 2 really huge ones. So I'm like wondering, not just where the camp's going to be, but I'm wondering like what right is it that you enjoy? Oh, I just stumbled into it in my little feeble brain. It's the gun, right? It's the gun. If they come and take away your gun, you'll be on my side. All right. So then I guess I'm going to be for taking away all the guns. Just so that you will be on my side. Not that I really give a damn whether or not you have one, because I don't. Never did. I just think there ought to be some background check that's involved before you give it to some 17-year-old who's leaving manifestos and suicide notes for his mommy and daddy. I just think that might be a good thing. But, I've never been a gun grabber. I've never said that we got to go door to door and get the guns. That's a great line out of the American president. Love when Michael Douglas said it. People stood up and cheered. But it's a freaking movie, everybody. It's a movie from the 80s. So, but if it means that you'll come over to our side and that you will suddenly vote in a way that will preserve your rights and mine, which are already gone, then that's what we should actually be for. I just can't even imagine Donald Trump trying to preside over a country of very agitated people with guns. I just don't think he would abide by you having an Uzi or, like at first it'll seem like a good idea. He'll feel like you're on his side, you're protecting him. But the first decision that he makes that you disagree with, he's going to understand that you're going to come for him too. And he's going to come and grab your gun. He's going to take it away from you because he just can't trust anybody.
All things Randi at RandiRhodes.com.
Go for launch.
Speaking truth to power, the Randi Rhodes Show.
We went to go buy a turkey today. It was $90 for a turkey. The price of stamps is up 32% in the last 4 years. But it's all a choice by Joe Biden. That is what Bidenomics is.
Okay, you putz. Why did you pay $90 for a turkey? Turkey is $1.25 a pound. Either he bought a 72-pound turkey, or he bought like an Amish turkey or a free-range organic turkey from, somebody that actually has a small turkey farm. That's Jason Chavez sitting there bitching about the price of a turkey, which is $1.25 a pound this year. I mean, nothing it will ever, ever, ever be good. Nothing will ever be celebratory. Nothing will ever be a Biden victory. Nothing will ever be, yay, let's celebrate. The economy in the United States recovered faster than any other nation on the planet post-COVID. Let's celebrate that. No, you know what they do? Let's take away the child tax credit. Let's take it, kill it. You know why? Because it took 50% of American poor kids out of poverty. We want them back in poverty. So take away the child tax credit, which was the key that unlocked the door out of the poverty trap. And they didn't like the door being unlocked out of the poverty trap. They wanted you like snugly and securely in the poverty trap. This is what they are. This is who they are. They hate Americans. They clearly despise democracy. They don't know how to win anymore because people don't see any ideas coming from them that they say, yeah, that would work for me. That's good. They just sit there and he bitches and moans about the turkey he decided to buy being some sort of a hormone-free, free-range, organically grown, never caged kind of a thing. I bought a frozen factory farm turkey. Okay. I will brine it though, and it will be yummy. It will be delish. It will be so damn good. He's actually sitting there telling people, this Thanksgiving blows. This game, it's so odd. But we went to buy a turkey. Your wife is either an idiot or a connoisseur. You choose.
They're going to go to the grocery store at some point and get their own Thanksgiving turkey and either say, wow, they lied to me. Or, I mean, how are they going to reconcile it? Like, it's not going to be $90.
Right, it is not.
It's going to be affordable.
It's going to be $20.
And are they going to sit there
An
and think,
18-pound turkey is going to be $20.
yeah, and they're not going to go, oh, I got lied to again on Fox News. No, they're not going to do that.
No, they're not going to do that. No, they're just going to be aggravated and bitchy. And when they get to the grocery store, regardless of, hey, this isn't a $90. This 20-pounder, this thing is going to cost me, this 18-pound turkey is going to cost me $20. Why am I being so specific? Because that's what I bought. I bought an 18-pound turkey for 6 people, which is a lot. But, leftovers being, you have to make the turkey pot pie because, fingers crossed, it's the heart attack dish. I swear to God, turkey pot pie has got to be the most cholesterol you could have in a dish. It has to be. I mean, it has so much butter and cream, which is why it's so delicious. And people think, well, how bad could it be? It's got vegetables in it. Yeah, they were cooked in butter. Sticks of it. And then you got your pastry, you got your pastry dough, right? That's also got butter in it over there. But these are, look, people say, don't diet during the holidays. All right, fine. I'm not dieting, but what about, the attack of the heart? What do you do about that problem? I don't know. They never told me. They never did. But bypass surgery, I mean, this is what I tell I go, well, the cardiologist, he's got this down, okay? The gastro guy, not so much. Not so much. They don't know crap about your brain or your gut. I don't think they do. I think they make that crap up. But they like sticking hoses in you apparently and not talking to you. I told you I never met the guy that stuck a hose down my throat. Just never met him. And last night we had our telemedicine dial up to discuss the results. Which you know what the advice I got was after all this? Take Pepsid. And if Pepsid's too expensive, I should take, I call it omeprazole. And he goes, you're saying it wrong. Omeprazole, he says. I'm like, okay, I'll take omeprazole. No, omeprazole. And don't take it every day. Take it every other day. This is what all of this, this day off of work I had to take last week. This is what it produced as a response. But I will say, cardiologists, they got the heart thing down. I mean, you literally, eat yourself to death over Thanksgiving. You literally not only eat, like buttery and sugary and, it's not the tryptophan that'll get you. It will be, like the stuffing and the buttery onions that you put in the breads, the pies, the marshmallows, yams with extra brown sugar in them, like that. Not so terrible, but the day after, okay, the pot pie thing, which I have to make. I mean, I have to because it's expected of me. It's a thing I do, and they have to have it. But see, here's where I take my consolation. Like, God forbid I should kill Howard. I did give him a heart attack one Thanksgiving. This is why it's on my mind. I mean, the very first Thanksgiving that we were ever together, I made him the the day after pot pie with the buttery goodness and the pastry dough with the butter in it and the vegetables cooked in butter and the cream that's mixed with the butter. And the next day after he ate that night, he had a heart attack.
Hey, nice try. At least you tried.
He did. And so, he had to have, stents and all that stuff. So they had to build back his arteries because I crushed them. I actually crushed them.
I'm saying that would have been the perfect crime. You almost got away. That would have been the perfect
So I don't want to
crime.
give anybody any ideas, Melania, but, there is something to be said for butter. and the day after and leftovers. But anyway, so I know, they were able to rebuild him. I mean, Howard's like the $6 million man at this point. He's got, implants, and he's got pacemakers, and he's got stents, and he's got, stimulators, and he's got, there's like no part of him that's left, unmechanized. So he's like my mechanized division. Okay. But when it comes to your heart, they got this. So eat up, everybody. Eat everything. It's your gut. You're on your own. You're on your own. So this is why I can't go crazy. This is why I can't get off my diet. This is why I have to stay low carb. This is why I can't eat flour. This is why, because my gut, like the gripper, you know what they call the grippers, right? I mean, I will be in, and you go, oh, you have gastritis. Yeah, I have gastritis. What do I do about that? Pepsid. This is what you're going to do. Every other day. Why every other day? Well, it does have some side effects. Could cause osteoporosis. Oh, great. All right. So I'm thinking we feed Donald Trump a truckload of pot pies. I don't know. Got to get rid of this man and not make him a martyr. And that's why it has to be like something really, understandable and accessible to everybody, where it's not like, the book depository thing. It's not anything bad. It's just a natural occurrence that happens with butter.
Call in, connect. To speak to Randi, call 561-270-3844. 561-270-3844.
The Thanksgiving race is on, and Americans filling their carts.
It's a big turkey.
Might make out better at the checkout line.
89 cents a pound.
According to this year's American Farm Bureau Thanksgiving Cost Survey, overall prices are down 4.5% compared to last year. While certain items like pumpkin pie mix and dinner rolls are up, stuffing mix is down almost 3%. And looking at two holiday staples, turkey is down 5.6%, fresh cranberries down 18%. To unpack that mixed bag, we turned to Midwestern meccas of Thanksgiving food. Wisconsin, America's #1 producer of cranberries, and Minnesota, top for turkey.
Hi.
There, farmer John Zimmerman helped us get hands-on.
He's about how old?
He's about 6.5 weeks old.
Turkey prices are down. Why would you say that is?
Part of that is because we're recovering from a bird flu outbreak, so there's a little bit better supply out there.
Yeah, I told you last year they had an avian flu outbreak, and it made the price of turkey go through the freaking roof. Now, they are not cute birds. Don't visit them when they're 6.5 weeks. But I will say, of all the cuteness in the world, even a 6.5 week old turkey is not cute. I don't mind eating it. People are gonna write me, you need to become a vegan. My sister was a vegan. She used to tell me, I could smell the dairy on you. Yeah, Charlene in Texas.
Hi, Randi. How are you?
Good. You?
Great. Thank you. I'm doing my holiday driving, my little traveling right now. And I was listening on my phone to your show, and I saw that clip that you played regarding the $98 turkey. And I had $90. That's insane. So I had to call in to let you know that I do buy organic. And right now, at the most expensive organic turkey I found was basically $3.99 a pound. For 16 to 18 pounds, that was like $67.
At Whole Foods.
At Whole Foods, absolutely, at Whole Foods.
Right.
But if you go to a regular grocery store,
yeah,
I actually bought a 14-pound turkey for my husband and I, which is pretty big for us.
Yeah.
But I bought that one, and I only paid $23 for it.
Yeah,
So,
I found a $200 turkey while I was doing my research on Jason Chavitz's claim. There is a $200 turkey that you could buy at Omaha Steaks. I mean, if you really wanted to do it, you could do it. Do you know what I'm saying? But
that was just so misleading.
Yeah.
That was so misleading.
Because that's what they do. It's, see, that's disinformation, okay? That's like So there is such a thing as a $200 turkey. There is such a thing as a $90 turkey. It would either be 72 pounds or it would be purchased at Whole Foods, right? But there is also such a thing as a $200 turkey. If you bought it at Omaha Steaks, it would be already cooked and sent to you. But that would only be a 10-pounder, by the way. So, but it's...
Wow.
Yeah, I know. But, it's just such disinformation because they're not making it up. That would be misinformation.
Absolutely.
Right. They're not lying per se, but they are trying to confuse you about the price of things.
Well, I'm really hoping that you're helping everybody to really get a better understanding as to how much misinformation is out there, and that these guys do nothing but lie. So thank you, and
You're
keep
welcome.
up the good work.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
You too.
And
Happy Thanksgiving.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Charlene. Bye-bye. Sarah in Texas.
Hi, Randy.
Hey, Texas.
Yes, I actually had a question for you.
Okay.
See, and it was from an earlier topic. Now, if Trump is not or was not a officer of the United States, that would make him unqualified for the benefits of, say, Secret Service and other amenities. Is that correct? Or I'm not sure.
No, it wouldn't. But that's, listen, do we all refer to him as the chief law enforcement officer? Do we all say that? Is that common parlance, or is that something that you have to really stretch to understand? I say it's common parlance. I say that we always refer to the president as the chief law enforcement officer, and that makes him an officer, and that this judge in Colorado punted because she didn't want to make the call. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happened. Because of course he's an officer. Of course he is. He's commander in chief. He's the chief law enforcement officer. Obviously. She just didn't want to make a decision, right? That's all that's going on here. The other courts that heard the case about whether or not Trump was an insurrectionist. Now, Colorado was interesting because she said, "Oh yeah, he's an insurrectionist. Yeah, no doubt about it." He incited them. He invited them. He did everything he could. And he just sat there and let them maraud. They were marauders. And, they trashed the Capitol, broke windows, did it all. So, yeah, of course. And then at the end, he gave Aiden comfort, right? He said, go home. We love you, right? Aid and comforted them, told them, loved them, and is now promising that he would pardon the people who did the violence again. So aid and comfort, yeah, okay. So she's like, oh yeah, no, he's an insurrectionist. Yes, you could say that legally. You can actually make that call. What I'm saying is a different thing. I'm saying he's not an officer, and therefore Section 3 of the 14th Amendment doesn't apply to him, right? And so I brought up to you, Jefferson Davis, who was the president of the Confederacy, and of course the third section of the 14th Amendment was written to prevent guys like him from ever becoming president of the United States. You don't get 2 tries to uphold the oath of office. You don't get more than 1 if you fail to protect and defend the United States from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Do you know what I'm saying? You don't take the oath and then ignore it and say, okay, I need another chance. That doesn't work. Now, the other courts, the one in Minnesota and what was the other state? Michigan, I think. They all said, they didn't say he was an insurrectionist. They didn't want to go that far. What they decided was that he's on the ballot to be the nominee of the Republican Party. This is not a presidential election that you've asked me about. Okay, you've asked me to decide whether or not he could be on the next ballot as an insurrectionist. And I'm saying that this is not a presidential. This is to be the nominee of the Republican And so I have no say. And the Section 3 of the 14th doesn't apply to becoming the nominee of your party. So I have no say over this ballot. He could appear on this ballot because there's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't allow him to become the nominee of the party, right? These are punts. These are kicking the can down the road. For those of you who watch on YouTube, I play this like 2-3 minute thing in between breaks, right? about this guy who sees all of this, women being arrested for having miscarriages and people screaming blood and soil and fascist state. And he just keeps kicking the can down the road. Just keeps kicking the can down the road until one day they come for him. Right? That's kind of what these courts are doing. They should stand up and be an American.
Clear for fatality. This is the Randi Rhodes Show. To speak with Randi, dial 561-270-3844. That's 561-270-3844.
Oh, I see you. Esther, is this you? Esther?
Yeah, hi. How are you?
It is you. Hi. How are you? Happy Thanksgiving.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. How are you? How's Quitman? How's everybody?
Oh, it's fine. We're here at Michael's house.
Oh, okay.
Jimmy's here.
Is Shantoy there?
Who?
Shantoy?
No.
Oh, good. Tell me when she's had enough.
Oh, yeah, I know you. I know you.
You do.
So how you been?
I'm
how
great.
you been?
I'm great. When I saw you, I said to, Brett, told me that you were a friend of mine and I would know who you are. And I saw New Jersey and I went, oh, my God. And he said, yeah.
I said, she would know. She would know.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, I got chills. So everybody's good? Everybody's okay?
Yeah, everybody's fine.
How much was your turkey?
Oh, you get it free when you buy groceries, right? So it costs about $200.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't get the $200 one. You didn't get the $90 one.
Oh, no, I got the $200 one.
you know that $200 one, that comes from Omaha Steaks. It's only
okay.
Yeah,
really?
it's only 10 pounds, okay? But if you
Oh my God.
But if you buy something else, the price goes way, way down to $99.
Oh, wow. For a turkey.
For a 10-pound turkey. Yeah.
That's crazy.
That's like $10 a pound. I mean, honestly, I just can't. So I know Quitman's a fairly good, chef. What do you make on the side? Because I'm running out of ideas here.
Oh, well, he likes to make his own stuffing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He likes to put things underneath the skin.
Oh, like herb butter and stuff?
Yeah, stuff like that. And
that's delicious.
The trick of the turkey is to turn the oven up very high.
Yeah.
You put the legs in first, but turn up the oven very high, like 450, for about 20 minutes, and then you turn it down to 350 and let it cook.
420.
And it'll come out perfect every time.
20 minutes, 350, and let it cook. I'm doing it that way.
Okay.
I will text you. I will show you a photo of Tom.
Okay.
I love you. Thank you for thinking of me.
I love you too. I haven't seen you. One day I'm going to see you. You know that, right?
Yeah, I know. Well, come on down. We'll put you in a camp with me.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right,
Esther.
you take it easy.
Bye, honey.
Keep your family safe.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Oh, man.
That was nice.
Okay, so, Esther, we have known each other since I'm 13 years old. That's how far back we go. And now she's all grown up, and I'm all grown up. And this Michael guy that we were talking about was my very first boyfriend. Hi, Mike. Hi, Mikey. And I know he's dating this girl because we still all keep in touch. It's very crazy. And I said, let me know when she's had enough. And Esther knows exactly what I'm talking about. She knows me. Okay, so listen, everybody, I just be thankful that you have some rights left. Just some. We only have some. We don't have all of them. We don't have the full Monty of the rights, okay? It's like if you... I told Jessica, Jessica's here, obviously, and we're all together for the holiday, and she's like, ready to have her family. She's ready to start a family. And I said, but you can't do it here. And she's like, well, I want to have the baby, so why can't I do it here? I mean, it's not like I want to, get pregnant and then not have the baby. Then I would understand why I can't live in Florida, right? Which is sad. It's sad that my child has less rights than I had in the freaking late 70s, okay? I mean, just like, what? Yeah, true. Okay, so I had to explain, and you need to explain this to your children when they come visit you in Alabama, when they come visit you in Mississippi, when they come visit you in Florida. You have to explain to them that they can't be pregnant here. You can't be grandma here. Why? Because God forbid, after 6 weeks when you know nothing at all about the health or, the stability of your pregnancy, you know nothing. You don't know organs have formed correctly in the proper cavities. You don't know jack, okay? You know nothing. And you probably won't know anything until, week 24. Well, God forbid you need tending to. Everybody's looking at the premature babies who, by the way, I just want to say, are now in Egypt being taken care of properly. But everybody's looking at these babies and oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Yeah, well, in Florida, there's nothing that would actually allow you to get any health care if you are delivering prematurely. See, because doctors here are scared that if they tended to you and you had an early delivery and God forbid didn't make it, they would be arrested. Do you see how messed up all of this is? And, we've been telling you for years and years that these people, they don't give a rat's ass about any of the, the stuff that comes from, they're winning. Like, they won. This is a win for them. They overturned Roe v. Wade. Donald Trump is still out there saying, Roe v. Wade, I'm responsible for that. I put those three. Good. Run on that. Go for that. Do that. Say that. All the time say it. All the time. But you can't. I can't even. Be. Somebody who has their child come here to start their family. I have to go there. She lives in California. I have to go there, which would take me away from you. Yay! No, seriously. So listen, I want you to be thankful that we still have, this place we can talk. We still have a place where people are free to say the things that I'm saying, to tell you and orient you to what's real and what's false. So Jason Chaffetz, yes, he paid $90 for his turkey. Like I said, you could go out there, you could go crazy, you could get one for $199. You could have it. It's there. You could purchase it because we're still a free country, sort of, kind of. Girls, not so much. Women, definitely not. Your kids are not exactly free to pick any book. I mean, Toni Morrison seems to upset the snowflakes. The bluest eye is something that they can't read that. Too deep, Might cause them to, have interracial friendships. Right, Esther? That would be bad. Look how it screwed us up. But honestly, I mean, there's some freedom left. There's some, not a lot, but some. There's apparently going to be a tough time voting, and then there's going to be even a tougher time counting, and then God forbid this man actually deploys his sycophants again. I don't know. Like I said, we're going to go through some things, is what it is. We're all going to go through some things. But we're not going to be able to, according to the Eighth Circuit Court of Appeals, we're not going to be able to say, wait a minute, that was not, No, they're going to be able to use the Insurrection Act, and they're going to be able to go seize the voting machines. And, Sidney Powell, instead of facing court and copping a plea, is going to be the hero of the story. Do you see? Sidney Powell. Yeah, a woman in a cheetah sweater with an old 90s Y necklace is going to prevail. Oh, my God. So here's Donald Trump. He literally wants to execute Bill Barr. I mean, come on. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So when you sit around the table and your crazy uncle starts talking to you about how he wants this to happen, you have to know that no good will come from it. Okay? No good will come from it. And he has to be made to understand that. He has to be made to understand that he can, still admire the fascist from afar, but that we can't have it here. We just can't. That this man can't use the presidency to keep himself out of jail and threaten to lock up every single person that disagrees with him. I mean, it's just not the American way. I'm looking at, if you go check out the homework today, take it to the bathroom. You'll need something after Thanksgiving. Before the tryptophan kicks in. I have a cure for that too. Espresso martinis, everybody. Espresso martini is like a speedball after the tryptophan. So you could watch the football, so you could stay up. But if he wins another term, he is going to weaponize the justice system. And, it isn't weaponized now. The man is a criminal. And we're going through the process. And all it takes is one juror to say, no, I don't think he did it. And he's scot-free, right? That's legit. Oh, God, help us. But he wants to literally put Bill Barr on trial. And as much as I'm not a fan, no, what's the evidence against him? See? Happy Thanksgiving.